So, happy Friday to my subscribers, old and new, and to anybody who may have stumbled across this channel. Wherever you are, I hope the weather is much better for you than what it's been for me this past week in Dundee. I suppose I should be grateful, and I am, because the sun came out maybe 35 minutes ago, but for the most of this week, it's been dark, rainy, and windy, which you'll know if you watch the video I posted the other day of the gale force winds that were wrecking my garden. Anyway, it's the weekend, and I'm sure for my friends who are continuing, to work, who are of working age, I'm sure you'll be grateful that it's the weekend. So since the day was kind of like the best day of the week, I went out for a bit because there was stuff I had run out of. I try to eat as healthily as possible, but fresh veg, it doesn't last that long. So it means I have to go out at least twice a week to restock my fresh vegetables. And I do like fresh veg. So I went to the Wellgate, which if you live in Dundee is known as the Welly, because I wanted to go to Iceland because it was close. I didn't feel like walking that far. Plus they have these great 3 for $10 deals on what I call movie munchy foods in Iceland. So as I'm walking through the shopping center, I noticed that there are all these pop-up stalls, and they're the ones that usually appear at Christmas time. The book stalls, the cuddly toy stalls, the jewelry stalls, all kinds of stuff. So of course I got distracted, and I'm walking my way through the stalls, just looking, and the Scots, being really nice people, they're like, "Hello, love, you okay? How you doing? You being served? You all right?" Shit like that. And I'm like, "I'm just looking," and they're like, "That's okay. We just want to let you know we're here." And of course, when I respond, even though I've been here, it'll be 25 years in November, what I get is, "I love your accent. It's not Dundonian, though. Are you visiting? Where are you from?" And after 25 years, I've learned to just give them the really abbreviated version. Fell in love with a guy online, moved here. It didn't work, but I fell in love with the country too, so I stayed. So we're talking because, it's like talking to people on airplanes, You get to talk, and, sometimes, at least in my case, maybe it's my face, and I've been told twice in my lifetime that I have a face that, it invites confidences. It's a warm, comforting face. So the people who were running the stalls, there were 6 of them as I'm walking around, we're talking, and they're all telling me the most amazing things about their life. And I'm saying this because 2 of the people that I were talking to, and all of the people who were running the stalls, were Scottish. When I told them, I was American, but I live here and had lived here. This is the country I've grown old in. They had 2 people tell me I had trips planned to America this year, and I canceled them. And I'm like, "Why?" I knew why. I knew what they were going to say, but, I was just like, "Why?" And they were like, "I can't believe you guys voted that guy in again." And I'm like, hey, that you're right, really. And actually, me personally, who didn't go home this year for the same reason, I wanted to hug them. And then I talked to this guy. 5 of the people manning the stalls were women, and the 6th person was a guy. And he didn't look very happy. So, you know me, I tease, I joke with people, whether I know you or not. That's how I begin, with a joke, with a smile. And that's really, as an aside, how you know I love you. If I can't joke with you, then no, you're not one of the people I love. So I'm teasing him, and I'm like, I like your t-shirt, and I like your beard. He had his beard was even whiter than my hair, and it was lovely. And I'm like, you have a lovely beard, but dude, you don't look too happy today. And he just told me flat out. He said, this is my first time being out of the house in months. I'm recovering from a stroke, and I'm really tired, but I don't want to go home. So, it may seem an odd thing to do. I was like, I'm sorry to hear that. You look like you need a hug. Can I hug you? And he lit up. He did. He was like, I could use a hug. So I just leaned over the table and I hugged him. And he hugged me back. And as he's hugging me back, I noticed, one arm was like, just not as functional as the other arm. But it was such a little thing to do. And when the hug broke and I stepped back, the smile he gave me, the smiles we gave each other, it was worth it. It was kind of like the highlight of my week, that I was to do something so little. I'm a person who hugs. I'm tactile. I'm always touching things, I can't help it. It's just the way I am. But I'm definitely a hugger. In the States, when I lived there, every time I saw my friends, and I used to see Debbie every day, Sharon at least once a month, everybody. We just hugged upon greeting. That's what we did. And I've transferred that to my life over here. The friends I have here, when I see Gail, Annette, and Marjorie, and Rachel, or whoever, I hug them, because that's what I do. Anyway, I stood there at that stall for a while and talked to this guy for a bit more about this and that. Mostly Bruce Springsteen near the end, because he was wearing a faded Bruce Springsteen t-shirt. And I told him I have a love-hate relationship with Bruce Springsteen. I adore his music, and half of my Bruce Springsteen, and I have all of it, but half of it is on vinyl. And I'm like, but I don't want to get all political and go into the reasons why I have this love-hate relationship with Bruce Springsteen. But it was just, it's one of those moments, and I have a lot of those moments. Let me rephrase that. Since moving abroad, I've had a lot of those moments where, you have a conversation with a stranger and you guys seriously connect, touch base, for a moment. You are the same. You have the same humanity and desires and fears and goals and everything. And you both feel it. Anyway, I just popped in to tell you guys that story today. Right now, I'm going to pop out and go eat because I cooked. My house smells like potatoes au gratin, and they smell every bit as good as the potatoes au gratin my mom used to make when I was little. So, it's Friday. Happy weekend, people. Thank you as always for sharing a little bit of your day with me. If you've just stumbled upon this channel, it would be nice if you clicked like for this video and subscribe because I tend to post fairly regularly. Plus, if you leave me a comment down below, I will do my best to respond. And until the next video drops, please stay safe and live well. And that's your girl out.